A very good evening and thank you for tuning into Metropole TV. Thursdays are for Metropole Debrief and it is about that time. My name is Ondiro Ganga. Today, another episode of Metropole Debrief. Now, we have a very interesting conversation today. We'll be talking about the state of digital lending in the Kenyan country. And to help us put this into perspective is Robert Masinde, who's the chairperson, of the Digital Lenders Association of Kenya. We'll be talking about anything and everything concerning digital lending. Log on to our social media platforms at Metropole TV KE Arts Ondiro Ganga and send us your question, your thoughts, your feedback regarding digital lending in Kenya. The hashtag is Metropole Debrief. Now, before we start the show, that's all in the second bit, but the first bit, we have to put into perspective what digital lending is and where do we start now. Getting a loan in this digital era has been made 100 times easier. Look, you could be in your car, you could be at home, you could be watching Metropole Debrief, and you could be getting a loan on your phone right now. Now, according to a report by Genghis Capital, there are over 40 digital lenders in Kenya that you can borrow from anywhere you are. There are over 6.1 million of you Kenyans accessing loans online from as little as 50 shillings to as much as 3 million Kenyan shillings on a daily basis. Now, let us look at another report by Financial Deepening Sector, FSD Kenya, which goes ahead to say the market has grown fast. Now, M-Shwari has disbursed Kenya shillings 230 billion loans since inception in 2012, while KCB, the largest lender by asset size in Kenya, now provides 90% of its loans through the KCB M-Pesa platform. Why did digital loans instantly blow up in the market? Well, 1, convenience, 2, convenience, and 3, convenience. First, you don't need collateral to access a loan. And by collateral, we mean you don't need a car, you don't need land, you don't need a house, and these are things that traditional banks always required. Now, 2, with your mobile phone, you can access a loan anywhere, anytime. And finally, there are no forms to fill. You know, like traditional banks, you have to go sign a form, so-and-so has to be your guarantor. There's nothing like that online. Now, let's take a look at, you now know why it's easy to borrow. Now we want to look at who is borrowing, your profile as the borrower. Now, borrowers are mostly male, roughly between the age of 25 to 36 years of age. Now, mostly are wage employed or self-employed with at least secondary school education. Now, 1 in 7 borrowers have a standing loan with a different digital lending app. Okay, so it means 1 out of every 7 Kenyans has taken a loan from a digital app. Now, a third of Kenyan digital borrowers have borrowed from more than 1 lending app. So you have this app, you have another app, and you've borrowed from both of those apps. Now, looking at the reason why people borrow for different reasons. Now, 1 out of every 3 borrowers take a digital loan to cater to household needs. Well, this could mean you need to buy food, you need to buy clothes, you need to just take care of things in your house. 37% of borrowers use their loan for business. So this means you could be using that money to get more stock for your business. You're going to Marikiti to get your products, come back, sell them. You're a border operator. You're using that money to buy fuel in the morning so you can start your day and then you can pay back the loan in the evening. 1 out of every 5 borrowers of digital loans use it for academic purposes. This goes to students who sometimes exams are near, you need an exam card, and then you go to one of these digital lending apps, take some money, pay for your exam, and do your exams. Now, 3% use the loan for online sports betting. As they say, unawekelea bet na unakaza, okay? Now, a recent survey by the consultative group to assist the poor, CGAP and FSD Kenya, found that approximately 6.1 million Kenyans borrow on a daily basis, which constitutes to 35% of mobile users in Kenya. Now, 1 out of every 8 Kenyans has defaulted on a digital loan. Hold up. So, out of all Kenyans, all the 45 million of us, 1 out of every 8 has defaulted on a digital loan. It means you've taken a loan and you're not paying it as you were supposed to, or you're not paying it at all. Now, over 400,000 Kenyans are listed in credit reference bureaus for defaulting on loans of less than 200 Kenyan shillings. Now, Microsafe says over 2.7 million Kenyans have been reported to credit reference bureaus with a negative listing for late payment or default. Now, 47% of Kenyans are said to be repaying their loans, okay? So it means that as much as there are those who've been listed in CRBs, there are those that are being due and they're doing the due diligence and they're paying their loans. The appetite for digital loans has been growing. What is known is that between December of 2011 and December of 2016, the value of non-performing loans as a share of total gross loans more than doubled across commercial banks, rising from 4.3% to 9.34%, reaching levels not seen since the end of 2007. Well, before the services are rolled out to you, you must click the terms and conditions, right? So you download the app and then they tell you before you start using the app, you must click terms and conditions. Let's go through some of those, okay? Now, one, interest rates are between 7 to 15% on a monthly basis, okay? Now, this translates, if you do the maths roughly, this translates to 40% on a yearly basis, contrast to banks that charge 14% annually. They also charge a service fee of up to 10% and a late fee. So if you're late to the repayment, you're charged either per day, per week, or per month, depending on what digital app you're using. Now, some have their late fee for as little as 1% a day, and some have their late fee for as little as 10% a day. Now, or it's little, yeah, or so you might think. Now, here's the catch with the terms and condition. Access to data. What data do they have access to? So before the services are rolled out to you, you're asked, can it access contact? Can it access your location, camera? And say, okay. And you don't read the terms and conditions down there, right? So they have access to your GPS, handset data, call log, contacts, right? And you know, when they have your contacts, you wonder, how did they get numbers of people and they were texting them and telling them, ask so-and-so to pay their loan, right? When they have access to your GPS, they can see where you're going, which hotels you're going to, how much money you're spending. So this just goes to show some of the issues that Kenyans do not pay attention to. And then later on, you start complaining, or when the rubber rather hits the road, then the goose comes back home to roast. And this is just some of the issues that we'll be trying to address in the second part of the show. Robert is already with us in studio, and this is some of the issues we'd like him to talk about, because he sits at a point of authority and he'll be able to elaborate some of these factors. Getting your money back in an ethical way, the interest rates that are being charged, are they exorbitant or are they in business? People who've been wrongfully listed in credit reference bureaus, he'll be trying to explain how all this comes into play and how you can be safe lending, or rather borrowing, in the digital space. This and much more lined up for you in the second bit of the show. Now we take a short breather. Stay with Metropole Debrief.